welcome back to the Unanimous Decision Podcast. I'm your host, DPalm. Follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, all the socials at DPalm66. Follow the entire MTR network at the MTR network. You found us, don't you lose us. Subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast for free $99. Do me a huge favor. I never ask for anything. 370 episodes. Give me this one thing. Go to your YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, UDPod66. Just do it. I don't ask for much. Just do it. Brought to you as always by the good folks at the MTR Network and by DanielPalmerMortgages.com. If you can afford your rent, you can afford a mortgage. It's my job to help you qualify. Make sure you check out my other podcasting venture, Life, Love, and Real Estate, with my real estate partner, LaCressa Amaro. We're talking about the seasons of home and community, kind of the season of life that we're in right now, and the season of time that we're in. But you're not here to talk about real estate. Here to talk about sports. And here to talk about sports with official boots on the ground, UD Pod correspondent. What up, Jamie? How's it going?
Hi, I am thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excited to have you. So the first time we ever interacted, we did the live show for Shutdown Fullcast, did live reading of I Was a Caleb.
Yes.
And it's been very interesting to kind of be on the periphery. Watching you interact with the internet it's almost like it's a spectator sport, truly. It's like, it's the funniest thing to just kind of be like tangentially like, Jamie's either roasting someone or like, that's vague enough to where it can be about anything. I admire your commitment to posting.
It is one of the things that I would have gotten a Letterman jacket in, so I appreciate that.
I think the weirdest part for me is like you seem to be a good person. You seem to like love like some of the right things. You have an artistic soul, but you're also a Bama fan. So like, how do I square this? Like, how do I reconcile these like positive like social additive things that with this other thing that's about you?
You know, Holly said one time, she just looks over at me while we're watching some games and just goes, God, I forget you're an Alabama fan.
Right?
I don't know how to feel about that, but I do deeply understand, given the rest of our fan base and my interaction with other fan bases online. I completely understand.
Well, right on. I had a question to go into like getting to know you a little bit better, but before I do that, I never get to break news on this podcast, and this isn't breaking news, but someone's going to wake up tomorrow and listen to this and not know that James Franklin's now the coach of Virginia Tech. And for that person, I say you are welcome and good morning. Jamie.
What a rude awakening.
And I hope you're not a Virginia. I hope this doesn't affect you emotionally. How about that? I hope this is information. I hope this isn't something that's going to ruin or make your day. So you're younger than I am, but I grew up on Frank Beamer, man. I grew up on Beamer ball. I grew up watching Michael Vick wasted in that offense. And to think that, like, one, it's an obvious step down job.
Correct.
But it is it's the thing that they need. Like, they need someone who can build and modernize a program.
Right. Like they need someone who has a little bit of pizzazz to their coaching perspective, I think. And I'm trying to say this very diplomatically. And I think going forward, you know, what I'm most interested in is seeing how he interacts with recruits, because I'm fascinated by this man as a coach. Fascinated.
It's really interesting because, and I've talked about this with Felder, like at one point they had the Tide 1. Like that was Virginia Tech's like hunting ground. And they've abdicated that to like ECU and other places. And now I'm like, so what does James Franklin bring on the recruiting trail to really recapture those lost hearts and minds? Or can they bank on we're bringing it back to days of yesteryear, a steady hand? Like,
I mean, unfortunately, you know, pop culture is going to follow history, and I consider sports pop culture, especially college football. And I'm really interested, like you said, in how they're going to spin this, because for people who don't know, my day job is in social media. So on the content side of things, you know, obviously lately we've been seeing a big push against sort of less scripted content. We've been seeing a push into, in my world, like clean girl makeup, very trad wifey type things. So when you say like, oh, they're going to bring back this traditional, you know, we're going to strong hand the recruits, I'm like, oh no, Oh, no.
What else are you gonna sell? His innovative
I know.
whatness? Like he's James Franklin's a known quantity. It's not like he's a guy we hope someone different. Like, no, you know what you're gonna get. Someone who's ultimately very competent in his job and can
Sure.
modernize a school that has been mired in yesteryear. And like you talk about kind of the structures in place, like he can bring them into 2020, maybe not 2025, but even close. So like it's
He's
progress.
sure. He is who I lovingly refer to as the lens crafters of coaches,
Ooh.
where they're always talking. I'm glad that you already are picking up what I'm putting down. Their ads are always like, "Come see the latest in eyewear technology," and then it's like transitions lenses. Like,
It's all about branding, and we're gonna
it really
see.
is.
But it's also the ACC, so like it could be like a huge slam dunk. Like you have no. Like this is the other thing. Like I wish he
Truly.
could have played Bill, but Bill they don't play next year, and that's
God,
probably not gonna last past then.
inject it into
So
my veins. I would go to the game if it was
this
James
this
Franklin
is not an
versus Bill
ACC podcast,
Belichick.
but Bill Belichick losing to Wake Forest, it's something I didn't know I needed in my life until I had it.
Do you know, I've always said that the ACC is kind of the, wild card of conferences. Like, I never really know who's good. Truly, truly.
It is the opposite of the Big Ten because I
Yeah,
always refer to the Big Ten as a Ponzi scheme.
it
It's like
is.
if you pre-rank them 11, like sure, I guess the win matters today, but like we're gonna watch what happens. And so now I'm like, oh, this is the what if your Ponzi scheme didn't fool anyone? That's the
Yeah.
ACC. That's what this is. What if your
It's
Ponzi
like
scheme was actually Herbalife? Like I don't know.
Herbalife, you're like bringing up all of my religious trauma with that one. All of the like pastors' wives and like music
Mm,
ministers' wives were super into it, like their daughters and stuff. No, it reminds me of the very ending of Wolf of Wall Street, where Jordan is selling pins at a is his pitch or whatever,
yeah.
and that's what the specifically this season's coaching carousel that's already kicking off, even though we're not even to the end of the season, kind of feels like it's. Let
You
me
know
sell
what
you
the
a gently used Lane Kiffin.
do you know
Like,
what the coaching carousel is? I can say this to you and you'll understand it. It's college football fan fiction.
God, that's exactly what it is.
It's like, but what if? Like, no, but like canonically that's not what happens. It's like, but I'm just saying, like, if we did get Gruden, just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just he's just not as racist. And so like, I don't know, like you're pitching like
God, the bar is so low.
Jamie, when so my new kink, my new thing. I don't have
Yes.
my new kink is to wake up on Sunday mornings before the
And
family
like, yes.
and go to losing teams' YouTubes and just listen to the people rationalize things. I listened to an Auburn 3-man booth of those guys not talk themselves into, openly be like, DJ Durkin's the hand we need here. And I was like, brothers in Christ, people can hear you.
Let me tell you, this is why we get along, is because you have the deep seated spirit of a hater. And I
Which is
like you.
college football, which is
Correct. I was gonna say
DNA.
you just said this on another episode. You have to be a hater to fully enjoy college football. And I have not done that to Auburn in a long time. But for those listening, yes, as we mentioned, I am an Alabama alum, second gen, so it's running deep.
It
And
follows.
Alyssa, I could talk for days. Do you remember back in old SB Nation days, like the meltdown threads that people would do, where they would like collect their opposing, rival teams' meltdowns? I lived for that shit. And now I'm like, you know what? There's a lot going on in the world. Let people enjoy what they enjoy. But then I go to a game and I'm like, no, you must suffer. Like,
I This Sunday I was drinking coffee and just listening to Texas YouTube. And I was like, oh, hey guys,
God.
how are we? How's everyone feeling? But I'm not gonna get into the games yet. I want to start how I wanted to
Okay.
start because I made the It Follows joke because you are one of our vaunted Halloween Americans. Um,
Honored.
I married one of you people,
You did.
and she has easily converted this child into one. So, kind of like knowing I'm up against the combined power of a very cute child and my wife, who I love very much, what can I expect? Like, is my future?
Oh, Lord.
They've
Okay.
already
So,
started what's called. Have you heard of Halloween camp?
n- no, I don't. So, for people who listening that don't know me, I don't have children and I'm not going to have them. So, I get secondhand information. When I found out about Elf on the Shelf, I said, oh.
Not in my house.
Y'all are correct. My mother, I am 34 years old. My brother is 40 years old. My mother puts Elf on the Shelf out as if we still live there. And I'm like, Mom, no,
That's
we're
my
not doing
tiny
this.
move against the surveillance state. Like there will be no Elf on the
Correct.
Shelf. I'm sorry,
So
kids.
wait, tell me about Halloween camp because this sounds
So
like someplace I would like to be a counselor.
I will send you pictures after this.
Okay.
But Halloween camp is a weekend it's a weekend on the mountain where they live in a cabin and they decorate the cabin. There's prizes. All the costumes have to be handmade.
Yep. Okay.
And for the last 2 years, Susan has gone with the kid and her parents. I've been able. It's been Dad's weekend alone. It's awesome, but I
Hell
think this
yeah.
is my last year avoiding it. But they've won 2 years running for family costume.
See, now you got pressure because
Exactly.
that's something that my followers and friends online know. I don't even I treat my Halloween costume reveal as if it is a Beyonce album drop where I've been
As
putting
well you
Easter
should.
eggs. Thank you. I've been putting Easter eggs in my various sometimes posts leading up to it. So, in your future, if you have not already done this, you will be subjected to immensely impeccable themed family costumes. And they will get more niche as you go on. Like The Incredibles is cute, but yeah, eventually you're going to be, you know, tertiary
No,
characters in like a TV show you forgot about.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. What the good news is that she and I like the same shows. So like, if as long as we stay
Good.
like on the Buffy Angel route, I think we'll be okay. Um,
Love Buffy.
that was our very first like watch as a couple. We rewatched Angel.
Stop.
Um,
So cute.
so you were there.
I
You went to
was.
Georgia, Texas.
I
I
did.
haven't been to a Georgia game in Athens since the night game against Notre Dame.
Ooh, okay.
And so night games are always weird there because those people have been there all day doing that.
Yes.
Was the crowd what I imagine it was?
A little bit, but also it's this weird, not subdued, but I think because it was Texas, there was this like, okay, yeah, we're gonna win. And I went with two Georgia fans and two Texas fans who came in from out of state to come to the game with us. And this was my first SEC game since 2021 and my first
Wow.
college football game since 2023 in person. I didn't get to go to any campuses last year. And I forgot that Sanford Stadium is kind of like sunken in, that it's the sunken place. We walked in and I was like, oh, I forgot that this is how this is set up.
Yes.
And at one point, the guy next to me, who was a Georgia fan, who wasn't inebriated, just was very chatty and very cordial, as most of you are. Love that. The red lights come on during the end of third quarter, and he leans over to me and doesn't know that I'm a Bama fan and goes, "Have you ever seen anything like this?" And I was like, "My brother in Christ." I went, "Oh yeah, like LSU, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas,
Every other school.
every other school that's adopted these theatrics that I don't particularly care for, but
Jamie.
they're listen, I'm old school
You're speaking
about
to my soul, Jamie.
I don't like the gimmicks. So they tried to give us light up bracelets and I was like, immediately no. Immediately no. I'm not doing that.
Wait, they who?
Georgia, like game day, whoever was like
Come on.
when you walk in the stadium, they gave us bracelets that like light up to certain parts of the songs. And of course, like two of the girls with me were like, it's just like the Taylor Swift concert. And I was like, no, it's just like the Beyonce concert. Check yourself. And also, I'm not participating in this. And so I was wearing all black. I was neutral. And Ryan stopped by the tailgate and he was in a blue shirt and like some, generic pants. Like we were both very neutral
Yeah.
in our appearances. And I had a great time. I just want to preface everything I'm about to say with I had a great time. Loved it. Could not have had a better time. We had great seats, had great tailgating, uh, beautiful, genuinely like beautiful campus. Athens is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Tuscaloosa has two uphill sections of campus that you do not have to go up and downhill on should you wish to get to the stadium from your parking lot or from your tailgate, because we tailgate on the quad and then around the President's Mansion, which is directly behind, or excuse me, in front of the stadium. Sanford is not like that. Athens is not like that. And so I got to witness many, many young 19 to 21-year-old young women struggle in cowboy boots that they've probably never worn before until this game. And I was like, oh, let me teach you my game day ways of the mid 2010s. But genuinely, it was such a good atmosphere. And I will say this, the in stadium music is not like it's not getting beat. Like they played every Atlanta artist. They played a sped up version of Sorry by Beyonce. So obviously I was like,
They know when
hell
their
yeah.
recruits are who they're recruiting. Like they
Yes.
know like the big weekends, they know who's gonna be sitting in the recruit section. They know what's
It was it was perfect. But it was also very much giving Falcons because the Falcons playlist is
no,
basically that.
no. The
It
Bulldogs win. That's a huge
okay.
difference. That's a
Okay.
huge difference.
I am a long suffering Falcons fan
I
for
quit.
people who don't know. I listen.
It was
After
great.
this past Sunday, it was I was like, all right, go birds. I'm cheering for Jalen Hurts. Congratulations to his wife. And I was like, all right, no, but seriously, it was beautiful. But this is what keeps happening with college sports in general, but especially football, the games that I have gone to. It's the Disneyfication of college football, the experience, and of college in general. So the last time I was in Tuscaloosa for a game was 2021, and campus has expanded so much in 6.5 years. I mean, wild to me. And it
Yeah.
feels like the Epcot of this is what college is. And that's kind of what it felt like on Saturday. And I just have to accept that, hey, this is what money gets you. This is where the money's going. And also, it's what brings in more money. So, a lot of conflicting feelings. I feel old, but I
So
had a good time.
the last game I went to live was National Title game.
Yeah.
I get to go to those when they're in Atlanta.
Wait, which one?
The one this past year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was also there when you guys did the thing to the I was there for that too. We're not going to
I
talk
was
about
also
that.
there.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. Let's talk about the game on the field that you get to watch.
Yes.
Does Kirby hate Sark like Georgia players hate traffic laws?
Good God. That man, I could feel the vibes. Like
I had to
they
look up. They never worked together. What happened?
never. And you could just tell. I mean, there were especially during the TV timeouts, which now it's like they'll hold up a little counter. It's like 3 minutes or whatever, and everybody sits down. I mean, he didn't even he barely talked to the players. Like it was mostly the coordinators during those breaks, and he was just on the sideline, like
Just bird dogging Sark.
we were like, what is happening? And I was like, okay, who hurt him? Like, what's the tea here? I'm
We had to
begging for there
find
to
out.
be
Someone's got to tell us.
yes. I'm begging for there to be a college football gossip podcast. There's a couple general sports ones, but I need a football specific. I need to know.
I think because of legalities involved, we'll be
I
resigned to
know.
message boards on that kind of stuff. I
Uh,
think that there's enough litigious Americans in charge now that we really can't put that stuff on the airwaves.
we can say allegedly, but
You
yeah,
really shouldn't be writing it, honestly. Anyone who's listening who's an
no,
please stop typing it. They can
stop
find
that.
you.
Correct.
Yeah, it was an ass kicking. And it was one of those things where it was like, oh, well, you don't the onside kick. Like, let's talk about the onside
Holy
kick.
shit. I
They
cheered as if it was my
made
team.
That's what I wanted to know because it's one of those things that you just don't expect. Like there was no
Not
reason
at
for
all.
that to happen. None.
Everyone was confused at first. It was like a 2-second delay for our brains as to what actually happened. And then once everyone around us had processed it, the guy behind me was like grabbing my shoulders and was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, all right, yay. But I literally said, holy shit, really loudly. And the Texas fans with me just were like,
But why? It felt unfair.
it felt very unfair.
It felt unfair. It felt like it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. And
It's beautiful.
then Georgia went down and scored again. And I have to accept that I am now in so two things happened on Saturday. One, your friend who made the comment about I wish I could enjoy this more. That was me. I wish this felt good. I wish they had
Yeah.
lost the SEC title game so that this felt better.
Oh,
This felt so because I
oh, that's
told
fair.
the story last week of the pod, but like Cam was like, "Don't talk to me for a week." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, you mean you're worried about that?"
You
shit?
think that this is going to be close. It's not going to
Jamie,
be close,
it hadn't
buddy.
crossed my mind. It hadn't crossed my mind. I was like, "Oh yeah, Mississippi State." Then we text at the end, and we're out of here.
Yeah.
Completely mentally forgot it, and Apparently Georgia didn't, because they brought the big sticks out and they made Peyton they kept. I know you were there. They cut to Peyton a lot.
Okay. I
They
needed to
cut
know
to
this.
Peyton and this kid a lot, and I was like, even I was. No, I was. I'm about to lie and be like, I felt bad. I didn't feel bad. I felt great.
I don't feel bad.
No, not even a little bit. Um, so I think Georgia can make a playoff and be in a top 4 seed and avoid the SEC title game, which really feels like the best of all worlds.
I was gonna say you guys kind of dodged a bullet. I think if you don't have to go to the SEC game, I will say, while we were tailgating, we were about to leave, and I was like, God, like there's like 3 minutes left in the Alabama game. Like, can we just like catch the ending of? And I was like, all right, no, we got to get to our seats. So I have it pulled up on my YouTube like TV app on my phone as I'm walking into the stadium, and I completely misread the scoreboard, and I was like, when did we score again? And Ryan was like, he was like, no, this is good. Like, you guys will be number 5. You'll get a bye, whatever. And I said, you are so much more optimistic about this time. But he also said, you were oddly calm. And I was like, yeah, that's the misconception where people watch sports with me. They think I'm going to be super emotional and super whatever. I'm locked in as if I am on the sideline and I'm about to be asked what we should do next. That's the level.
So we're gonna go to your game next, because I
No,
had
you're good.
I have one question, then one realization. The question is, when Mike Bobo called 3 consecutive first down bubble screens, did he actually say into the microphone, "I'm doing this to try to kill Daniel Palmer"? Did he say that? Because it feels like
Sources say.
when I bring him up on charges for attempted murder, those were exhibits A, B, and C.
And see.
I was
That
livid.
man, let me tell you, the guy in front of us who was the one that kept like turning around to high five me, not knowing that I'm neutral in this situation. Okay. I was specifically rooting for Georgia to win this because we beat you guys. And I was like, it needs to be, I need strength of schedule to help us out here. But he said multiple times, Mike fucking Bobo. Like he said it multiple times. And Tempe that came with me was just like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Like, welcome
back to hell. We were out.
Yeah.
I was free. I had done my Bobo years. He had gone off to Colorado State. Good luck and God bless. And then he says he wants to, step away for his health. I hope he gets better. He gets too good, comes back.
Speaking of It Follows. Yes, speaking of It Follows. So Gus Malzahn is my It Follows monster. Mike Bobo is your It Follows monster.
Yeah, but mine keeps getting in the house. I don't know what to do. This is ridiculous. But the other thing I realized this week is I had to accept it. So like, no one cares who listens to this ever cared. But like when we did Duji podcast for 200 whatever episodes, my big thing was we don't service our talent enough. The talent in Georgia is not serviced by the play calling or by the talent surrounding them. And for years, even through 2 national titles, I was the curmudgeon. Like, I wish Stetson was. I love who he is. I wish he was someone different. And they gave me Carson back, and it was like, well, I didn't ask for. That's a monkey paw. Like, we
didn't ask for that different.
Here's your talented quarterback. And so now I've resigned myself that the kid from Tiger, Georgia. This is what this team needs. Kirby can go get 5-star everythings, and he'll just pick the Georgia 4A player of the year.
Correct.
Just like, fine, you go run it, kid. And they'll be like, we love this guy. Because that guy had spent his entire life cultivating relationships with the guys he's going to be playing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of guy are the guys he was raised around. So they respond well to him. They never, whatever, Carson's whatever. I'm not going to allege anything. I'm just saying that when Gunner got his shot, the effusiveness of the praise from his fellow players spoke to a vacuum that had previously not been noticed.
It matters so much. It's the same thing like when you're interviewing for a job or something and you've gone through the first round, they're like, all right, cool, you got the qualifications. And then they do like a cultural fit interview, which is what just happened to me at my job. And truly, like, it's, if you're going to be working with someone for a long time, you better like them. And it's the same thing with auditions. Like, there's so many producers who are like, yeah, there might be a more skilled or marketable or whatever person, but like, you got to be on set with these people for 12 to 14-hour days for the duration of the shoot. Like, you got to like who you're working with.
Yeah.
And Gunner's very likable. He's very likable and just homegrown, like, that's kind of hard to beat.
He'll never be an NFL quarterback, but damn, he can be the Georgia quarterback. And
he's going to be such a good F-150 dealer.
Look, okay, all right, we can make that joke, and it is true. But I've actually resigned myself to we're now in our 2000s Alabama quarterback phase where it's like,
Oh
it doesn't,
God.
I don't need to hope for great. I just need
Right.
competent, and the rest will take care of itself. And it's happened this way because the sport had evolved past that system working, except now with all the money,
Yep.
teams are thinner. So the depth is gone. So you can go back to that old model of, well, my best is better than your best. And that's what Georgia's trying. And by God, it's
It's
working.
working.
And what's
It's so
crazy to me
working.
is this new SEC, because Georgia always beats Texas, but Texas always beats Oklahoma, and Alabama always beats Georgia. But I'll be damned if Oklahoma don't seem to take a bite out of y'all's asses.
Every year, not every year, but often enough to where it
It feels
chaps
that
me.
way, yeah.
It feels that way. And let me tell you, man, realizing that your quarterback is leaving to go to grad school at Oklahoma and then go be the quarterback for just 1 year at Oklahoma, that still rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, nah.
It should.
I'm like, that's not y'all's QB. That's not y'all's
No,
QB.
you're right.
I was about halfway through the fourth quarter. I was like, okay, if this goes into overtime, I will meet them at the stadium. I'm going to watch the end of the game. I don't want to be
Yeah.
surrounded by Georgia fans
Not
when
for
we
that.
lose,
No, exactly.
which is what happened anyways. But I didn't know it because I could not read the YouTube scorebug. I don't know what it is with this specific class. So the current people who are juniors and seniors, basically, man, Oklahoma just has their number. And I cannot for the life of me figure it out. There is nothing statistically that makes sense. Like if I'm a coach and I'm looking at X's and O's, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm like, oh yeah, no, like you guys got this. But Alabama suffers from something that we've been suffering from since about 2009. I used to make jokes that it was the Nick Saban school for kids who can't tackle and want to learn how to do other stuff good too. That stopped for like maybe the last 2 years of Saban. This season, it has come back. I don't know what they're practicing, but it's not wrapping up. And I'm pissed.
You know how I know how mad you are? You went straight up old school talk radio caller. There, I'll tell you what they're not doing. Wrapping up.
I
That was fantastic. Sorry.
Deep within my soul is a Feinbaum caller who will never fully emerge on a free
You see
platform.
flashes, like tiny.
Yeah. I save my anger for the gym and I work it out there. But while I'm watching a game, again, like for people who have the video, you might as well hand me a headset and an iPad because I'm going to be like, y'all are going to hear from me. I'm going to be like, all right, look.
And what's crazy is I didn't look at the box score until you said this. 23 first
go
downs
look.
to 12. 212 yards for Oklahoma, 406 for Alabama.
Hello.
326 passing for Bama, 138 for Oklahoma. Rushing 74 to 80. That's about a wash. You had the ball 10 more minutes.
Correct.
Oh, there we go.
And
those two lost fumbles in that pick. That'll do it.
the pick sent me into orbit. My soul yo-yoed from my body, and I said, okay, we're losing. And I graciously had a bartender at our tailgate who said, what do you want? And I said, the strongest thing that we have. It was like watching my dreams of going to a non-bowl, end of season game just flutter away with the wind.
As a Georgia fan, I can't relate, but like, I will say something. Like y'all get two or three losses, and I start hearing things about your coach again. The joke on Saturday was that Sark's headset actually connected to Nashville, and he was in the Titans job on the sideline. It's really nice to have a coach that no one asks questions about, and he's 49.
God, every time you bring that up, I'm like, that man, I'm gonna have to deal with him for the next 15 years.
Easy 15.
He's making so much money coaching at his alma mater. Like, what? Why would he leave?
All his friends,
right? He took over the family. This is what happened. He did what every Georgia grad of a certain age and demographic does, which is take over the family business after graduation and hire all of his buddies. And I respect it.
Unlike most of them, he greatly improved everything he found.
Correct.
He did not run it into the ground. I'll gamble it away.
Now I'm just picturing Kirby as like, yeah, I'm picturing Kirby as like a HVAC business owner. Smart and Sons Heating and Cooling.
Look, we're gonna have to go to one office. It just makes more sense.
You know,
That's
and
a story.
people love to say like, oh, you know, DeBoer's gonna be in the hot seat again. Bama fans are never satisfied. Honestly, that's mostly online because the people that I'm talking to, so like my dad, who's in his 60s, and like people who actually, you know,
Yeah.
grew. I mean, Shula was my first coach that I remember. So y'all are not hurting me. Y'all are not hurting me. Like I have Brody Croyle as my first quarterback crush. Like y'all are not. We are cut from different cloth, okay? And I don't know a single.
Wilson. I cheered hard.
Oh God bless that poor man. And Greg too. Just, you know what? Good for them. But I cannot imagine there's not another coach that I would want at Alabama right now because that's just facts. Like I can't. Okay, Dan Lanning, who was never going to leave Oregon anyways, but right.
He's the only coach I'm scared of. Like legitimately, Florida can hire anyone in the world they want as long as Dan Lanning stays the fuck on the West Coast.
Holy shit. Florida with Dan Lanning is actually the most disturbing thought you've planted in my brain.
I don't want it. Like, but I think as long as Phil Knight's alive, we're
yes.
As long as because Phil Knight will pump money in that thing until the family makes him stop.
I was gonna say they're gonna be like, okay, pop, like walk away from the slot machine.
And that's when Dan Lanning's gonna be like, and Lanning is open for business.
Yeah.
And he should. It should go somewhere that's not in the South and go terrorize them.
Yeah, listen, you know what I've been meaning? I was like, I'm gonna ask him this on the show tonight. If you had to get a coach into Athens that's not Kirby, and you had to help him buy a house, where would you tell him to move?
See, I don't. So this is the big secret shame of me. I didn't grow up a Georgia fan. The first game I went to, I was a sophomore in high school. So
wow.
I don't have like a deep knowledge of the topography of Athens. I grew up a Clark Atlanta University fan.
Okay.
My dad's in the Hall of Fame there. And I went to literally every home game. I missed the first Clark homecoming I missed was my first semester at Columbia.
Oh man. Okay, yeah.
So like that's my deep knowledge of the area. I would say this. If he was moving to Athens if he's succeeding Kirby Smart, I imagine he can live wherever he wants because teleporters are around by then. Because Kirby's never leaving. You guys can all fanfic you want about who would replace Kirby. That man's
alternate universe.
He's not even born yet. It's gonna be Tua eventually. Oh, also.
God.
I am the only person left on Tua Island in America.
Yes, you are.
Including probably his coach. Because I took my father to that game. And he was offsides, but whatever.
You're trying to kill that man.
Tua ruined that day for me, and then I had to stand in the rain while getting my dad an Uber. It was the whole thing. Donald Trump made us leave late, like it was.
Oh, yeah. I was almost late getting into that game because of him being there. I was with Bama in Atlanta, the alumni chapter here, and we're coming from Smith and McCormick's having dinner. Yeah. That's where I met Charles Barkley for the first time, and I was like,
I met him in Red Door.
Oh,
that's what? 100%. Him and Michael Irvin were in Red Door one night.
Sure. You know what? That's exactly actually where I would expect them to be now that I think about it. The only person left in like Atlanta sports media basis to meet for me is Shaq, and we'll run into each other eventually. But we were like, oh, like, let's, go ahead and get to our seats. So we go stand in line and we realize that there's these really tall concrete barriers that they block off, traffic for, like during Hawks games and Falcons games. I'm 5'2". Everyone else with me is a normal height or taller. It's pouring down rain at this point. Kickoff is not for another hour, but God help us as we try to get in. And a very kind gentleman who I hope he remembers the story fondly, gets over the barrier, turns and looks at me, is in a Georgia jersey, and just goes, you know what? Fine. And he just literally sticks his arms out as if I am a small child that has asked for uppies. And I'm just like, all right, you know what? Thanks for that, man. But that's the only Bama game that Trump has gone to that has not had something crazy disastrous for us happen, like either on field or off field. So, yeah, man, don't get me started. That's why actually I've not gone to a Bama game this season in Tuscaloosa, and I won't until he's out of office, is because of the booster that invited him to come sit in the box. And like he caused a huge the issue with saying he was going to speak at graduation. He wasn't actually. He was not formally invited by the university. He decided, I'm going to speak at graduation. Because I'm
Donald Trump just lied about something. This is not
crazy.
sanity check. I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it.
But yeah, I that's my one, like, I think, you know, because I talk about this a lot, how like football is such a brutal sport, and I already really struggle with what we put men's bodies through in it, and like the mental health aspect, and CTE. Don't even get me started on that. Listen to Bloody Brad's pod. We did a whole podcast episode on him and talked about all of that. But
or just have 3 whiskeys with me.
Yes,
and then
listen.
I won't shut up about it.
I feel very strongly. My one of my good friends, it's in the Bama, I almost said Twitter sphere, but it's not, Blue Sky football sphere. But she's from the Roll Bama Roll days, Stevie Marie. Her dad played for Bama. That's how we met. And he passed away from CTE complications. So I feel very, strongly about it. Like, I know we know players that have it, but I've been very like adamant about like, okay, if I'm going to enjoy this sport as much as I do, what's the most ethical way to do things?
Yeah.
And I mean, like the moment that you start kowtowing to this horrible administration, I'm like, cool, you'll never see another alumni dollar from me until both presidents, the university and the POTUS, are gone. And yeah, that's my soapbox. On
a much smaller scale, the chasing of Deshaun Watson is what made me walk away from being a Falcons fan.
Truly.
Because it was the second year Georgia just won back-to-back national titles, and I was like, I'm so happy on Saturdays. I let these losers ruin my Sundays. Like why would I do this to myself? And I'm just a fan of the Shield. I love football. I've always loved football. I'm a football nerd. So like, I enjoy the NFL, but people are like, you must hate the Falcons about it. I'm like, no, it's one of the few consistent things in my life at this point. Like I know
since I was a child,
the Falcons will disappoint the people who care about them.
Listen, and I hosted a huge Super Bowl party the year it was here. And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like after that, I was like, all right, like I'm used to it, whatever, NFL. But that for sure contributed to me backing away. And I know you and I could talk about this for hours, and we've got to have an episode of one of my shows about this, about like what it means to be a football fan when you are not a straight white man. Like it doesn't, I mean, it's putting yourself in a position of loving a system that hates you. And I think it's funny when people try to get up on their like holier than thou horse about it, because I'm like, okay, but that's every system. That's every single system. Like, welcome. Yes. Congrats. You're all aware now. Cool.
It's one of the reasons I love doing the thing with Felder every Friday.
Yes.
It's just
I love
two ex-players, like just talking about everything, but invariably talking about the thing that we love and have the most in common about, which is football.
Yeah.
The fact that our recruiting trips were a week apart at UNC, and like that was one of my last 3 schools to decide to go play at. It's all very like, we met when we were supposed to meet. I'm glad we weren't teammates.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have gone well for anyone, specifically my grades. You heard about this Boo Carter thing?
No, fill me in. I've been catching up slowly on coaching carousel stuff, so I'm out of the loop on this one.
So Boo Carter, those who don't know, he is the defensive back for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he announced he was going to be leaving the Vols by not showing up on Saturday for their game.
Oh, okay.
ESPN is told by a source that Carter had been informed by the coaching staff that he wasn't going to play against the Aggies because of disciplinary issues. They're playing New Mexico State. It's homecoming. But the coaches still expected Carter to attend the homecoming game and watch from the sideline. When Volunteers coach Josh Heupel was asked about Carter's status following Saturday's game, at the end of the day, there's a standard you've got to meet to be in the locker room until he was not on the field with us. That will be my last response to anything related to that for right now. super, like, for me, like, this is, like, he said that he has a season coach broke due to injury on X, on Twitter. That's dead naming, and dead naming is wrong, but it's Twitter. I've decided to enter the transfer portal. I'm excited about the opportunities going forward.
Oh,
This is the end result of the lack of any attempt at regulation of any of this.
correct. And NIL is something that I feel a multitude of ways about, but I think that we are going to continue to see the degradation of some sort of like team loyalty idea. And something, so my ex was never super into college football. He went to Ohio, not Ohio State, but just Ohio, so I understand.
Bobcats.
Yeah, but he was like, how can you get so into this when like the players leave in 4 years? And I was like, buddy, wait until they start leaving in 1, like, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Like NFL players do it all the time. And I'm not surprised. And again, not to like bring my dad up like 14 times, but Stan feels some type of way about the portal. He's like, look, they should get their money, NIL, whatever. He's like, but it's going to cause more players to leave for the schools that are then bankrolling more often.
Which is
And I
not
was like,
very different than what it was.
right. I was like, cool. Now we're just doing it out in the open.
But
like,
it was more fun before. It really was more fun before. Like this, people, have you heard about this booster insurance they're trying to do?
Yes. What the hell?
Who goes and gambles as long as there's a safety net? Nah, dog. The point is the gambling. That's the fun. What are you doing?
It's
you want return on investment? Get some mutual funds. Stop saying I want a running back. If you want a running back, then you like to play dice. Let's go roll some dice on some teenagers.
I was going to say, y'all are betting on children. What kind of Hunger Games ass universe do we live in? I
explain that to people sometimes. Like, my wife was never into sports growing up, so we watched things like Starting Five and watching Tyrese Halliburton do all the shit he did last season.
Yeah.
And she was like, he's 25 years old. And I'm like, yeah, he's a child. He's a child leading an entire organization and like putting it on his back. Like, these are children.
Well, I mean, you can't listen to a single Alabama game without them being like, Riley Williams is only 18. Well, in last season, it was he's only 17.
Yeah, like, stop celebrating that.
Right. Like, what? You were sacrificing this young man's body. Actually, I said this last week. I'm glad he's only 18 because his body is like Stretch Armstrong. Like, he took a hit, and I was like, oh, he's fine. But if it's one of our seniors, I'm like, oh my God, please get this man a walker. I'm like, please help them shake it off. I get so emotionally invested in like, I don't want anyone to get hurt, which is hilarious considering how brutal this sport that we love is. But like, I was at the Iron Bowl where we got sacked like 14 times in a row, and the Cam Newton Iron Bowl. This was also the year we also got in trouble because the student section we threw out fake dollar bills when he came on to the field, and we got in so much trouble. Like, our honors organization that I was a part of that had those seats was fined. And I was like, oh. But they also played Son of a Preacher Man on the PA system. So that feels like we were set up.
They're on the gag.
Yeah. But truly, like, I think about every Saturday, I put my mental health on the line for 4 hours with a bunch of 17 to like 21-year-olds. And, the past 2 seasons, honestly, since COVID, I've gotten less emotionally invested.
Yeah.
But I've looped back around this season to being excited because it's like, look, life is short. Let yourself have this one thing that you're like.
I'll have a treat. I'll give myself a treat.
A little treat. I'll have some bread and circuses as a treat.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like. And people are like, oh, it's so brutal. Like, they're trying to say, basically, people who don't know the history of the sport. I'm like, go watch Leatherheads. People used to die on the field. They used to die.
Yep.
And I just, but this whole transfer portal thing, to get us completely back on topic, it's really interesting to me because schools are now pitching themselves as a startup. Hey, come get your career startup with us. And like you said, it's a Ponzi scheme. And it feels very much like the people who sell courses on Instagram of like, hey, we'll teach you how to like do day trading.
Yes.
Like, that's what it feels like. And yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on that. But
for me, NIL is the abdication of responsibility by the institution.
Yes.
It is saying they are employees. We recognize that they have value, but we've outsourced the compensating part. And it is cowardly and it is weak. And I'm glad, get money. As someone who probably could have gotten a low
You
three-figure deal from a pizzeria in New York, which will
low.
remain nameless because you didn't pay me.
I
I'm
was gonna
just
not lowball you. I was gonna say high five figures, but you know.
I think you grossly overestimated the Ivy League football diehards. But I appreciate that. I will say I just think that this Boo Carter thing, like, one, it's interesting that he's framing it as
Wild.
an injury.
Yeah.
Two, I think it's interesting that Heupel, like, it did feel like him not showing up was a surprise, which I think when you've only got so much power, not showing up is a move. Like, that's a
You
decision.
that is
That's not
such
that's not like I went to coach and had a conversation. It was I just
right.
didn't show up anymore.
And you know what? I would call it kayfabe, but he actually didn't show up. So it's kind of like, all right, my guy, you made your decision. Because I'm thinking about like past seasons of Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
and like I get anxious when they're running late. I'm like, do you know? Do you know that your multi-million-dollar contract is hinging on if you show up to a meeting on time, my guy? Like, what are you doing?
It's the Hard Knocks, they frame it in the way very successfully, by the way, into making you so
Yes.
emotionally invested. Last story I want to keep you I don't want to keep you too late. It is
No, you're good.
um so South Carolina versus A&M.
Oh
First of all,
Lord.
on the field, insanity. Like, just if you are listening to the sound of my voice, I know at least two of you are. I know who you are. I've known you for a lot of your life. Listen closely. You don't have to raise your children to be South Carolina fans just because you are one. You can break the curse. You can stop this today. Because anyone who, including your coach, who was pumping his fist at halftime and then was like, I wouldn't know celebrating. Anyone who was like, it's impossible for them to blow this, has never encountered South Carolina football.
Let me tell you, the way that I was so I had to watch the Alabama South Carolina game again on my phone on YouTube TV as I'm in hair and makeup for the theater show I was a part of. And I'm getting like special effects makeup put on me so I can't move. And I'm just like, go run the ball, like trying to like not get emotional, like not move my mouth and my face. I hold my breath every time we play them and have for as long as I can remember. Because what the fuck ever is in the water that goes into the grass on that field in that stadium? Haunted, accursed. I mean, it's not Jordan Hare, but it's mighty close.
It's a bad place, and they bring it with them, and they go to A&M, and they blow this amazingly blown lead. Like, one of those things I'll be talking about. I will make fun of my South Carolina friends for years about this is the one. This is the new one. There's always going to be one
Yeah.
South Carolina. This is the new one. But the thing that people are talking about from the game is this Texas State trooper behaving like a Texas State trooper on camera. Jamie, have you seen Bomani's video on this?
No, and I've been saving it because so the first thing I
I'm not
saw,
going to
I
spoil
didn't
it for you. It's fantastic.
don't, please don't. I didn't even see that happen during the game. It came up on a TikTok Sunday morning. First thing, you know, when I log in, they really have got me pinned over there. And I said, I know the fuck he didn't. And then I went, no, of course he did. I'm in an Airbnb in Athens, phone held super close to my face because I'm wearing my glasses, not my contacts. And all the people who I was staying with heard me say is, I know the fuck he didn't. And they were just like, what's wrong? Like, what happened? Yeah. And I mean, I can't imagine. First of all, you go ahead because I know you have strong feelings about this. But I was
I don't want to step on Bomani's take because it's
say
it's
it.
the take I
Yeah.
had.
Okay.
This was
I say do it.
Bipartisan, unanimous across the board. Chipper Jones tweeted about this and called the state trooper boy. If you go to when we get off this, I'm gonna send you those pictures from
Please
Halloween
do.
Camp on Instagram. But look at my story because it is a Texas Aggie, third generation Aggie lawyer who says that these boys should sue this man. Bomani says it's more unifying than George Floyd was.
Yeah. Okay.
He says Y'all got mad at, is this what it takes? They've been killing us on camera. But you
But all
shove
it
a
took,
wide receiver from South Carolina? Is this the straw?
listen, and I say this all the time, and we really harped on it on the episode covering him, where black men are offered two things, and especially in athletics, you get to be demonized and pedestalized. And either way, you're not human. And that to me sums up, I mean, insert any group here that gets treated that way, but especially when it comes to race in America. And you cannot talk about sports without talking about that,
Especially this
especially
sport.
college football.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and you know, basketball kind of sort of there's less violence on the court sometimes.
There's a different power dynamic in basketball because there's only 5.
Right. But when you have, I mean, that line, yeah. I feel some type of way. And then, you know, you were talking last week about you called him a quarter black. I lost it.
That's what if you have a starting quarterback in the NFL, your backup has to be black. Or you're going to get we should probably give, who was it down here for the longest? Who was the Vicks backup? He ended up starting in Houston for years.
Oh,
from UVA.
I can picture him, and I can picture his jersey number.
Matt Shaw. I was like, he has done it. He's united Buckhead behind a common cause. It probably should be Matt Shaw starting under center because, damn it, I went to school with him. And it was one of those things, just like, I was like, this is a perfect storm. But by allowing the quarter black to steal a job from another quarter black, that's progress. I'm not saying we found equality. I'm saying we're creeping upon it. I never
listen. I say all the time.
It happened again. Justin Fields getting bitched for Tyrod Taylor.
That's who I was about to bring up. I was like, we got to talk about Justin Fields. I was having a, no pun intended, field day catching up on sports news yesterday.
Justin Fields is my test case. Like the fact that I am 40. There's been one starting black quarterback on purpose at Georgia.
Oh, correct.
And it was Quincy Carter. Like, and that's a lot to take in.
That's wild.
Justin Fields was like, nah, y'all got it. Nah, y'all got it. And he's not.
I'm good.
The thing about Fields is he's from here. He's put see now, it's a whole other podcast. I have a whole other of the missed.
Now we got you on the Falcons calling.
And the thing that, you know, I'm gonna let you go, I promise. The thing that bugs me the most about the Kirby years and the success we've had and the beauty and the winning is that when it happened, and I am recorded across hours of this being like, I don't know, guys, this Rick, I was here for Donnan. Y'all want to get rid of Rick. I don't know. Unproven commodity. And for everyone who gets that hope up where they're like, we should fire our guy and replace him with someone we don't know yet. And I'm like, it doesn't usually work. You don't have to listen to me because I am the idiot who said it wouldn't work. But normally, I'm going back to my alma mater to restore the feel, not restore the feeling. Start a feeling. Because Georgia.
Right.
And I think that's a bigger problem we talk about the coaching carousel. These schools have forgotten who the fuck they are. South Carolina, you are a 7 to 8 win program. And you will be
correct.
Well, Steve was here and he got us 10. None of these motherfuckers are Steve.
Steve is not walking through that door. I feel like that scene
in Will out of there, man. Will Muschamp was a perfect spiritual fit. That's a 40-year job for Will Muschamp, baby. We're done here.
I feel like the scene in, heaven forbid me that I bring up a Tyler Perry film, but in Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where she's like, Christina's not here. Like, Will's not here.
I can proudly say I've never seen one of his productions. I've never partaken.
I have only ever seen I take that back. My mom thinks that she thinks that Medea's Family Reunion is hilarious. And I'm like, Cindy, we got to talk about this later.
That's the thing. No one kind of likes him. They're either all in or all out. Like, I've just never exposed. I've never gotten dip my toes in those waters.
That's a whole other podcast episode. Yes, I am not a fan, to make it very clear. I just, in particular, my brain immediately goes to movie and pop culture references. And I truly cannot believe that anyone could look at Florida or South Carolina right now and be like, yeah, like the next person that comes in is gonna make us national champions. Like, pump the brakes. Let's
Florida
get
at
to
least,
winning your
like,
division first.
what division? There are no divisions anymore. Florida
I
at least
know.
like looked like I could see an egotistical man saying, "I'll take your money, I can fix Florida." South Carolina, man, y'all better like that Beamer, baby. Beamer, Shane, that's about the a little over
Shane's stuck.
exuberant, sure. But Shane, what else do you want? It's out. You're the second school in a talent poor state. What do you expect?
God, not a talent poor state. Drag
Just
them.
from a population numbers
Sure.
game wise, like there's not a whole lot of talent to get pools from, and anyone you got
Listen,
is if they really want them, Georgia will take them from you. Like that's the bigger thing. It's like you can't hold the shit.
you listen, and those recruits go to Georgia and see, hey, it's a little bit further away from home, but still driving distance, which was a selling point for Tuscaloosa for a lot of people. And then also, hey, look at all this money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, it was concert levels of production, and if Georgia can go to any recruit and be like, "Hey, you're gonna have your NFL experience before you get to the NFL." I mean, Bama's whole thing is NFLU. Like our recruiting stuff still says that. The hashtags they use on we every Sunday, the social media team for Bama football posts highlights of whatever Bama player in the league has done that weekend, and like it honestly just feels like watching like the ones that got away. I always like,
The
I always
Whitney
hear
Word
like,
plays in the
"Baby, come back!" Yeah.
background. I'll tell you what, Jamie, I'm gonna have you back on because this has been a lot of fun and because you gave me the perfect button for the episode because you said they can sell that they're within driving distance of Athens. And Jamie, I don't know if you've heard about Athens, but once you get them cars, everything's in driving distance. Jamie, tell people where they can find you, please.
I love your ability to curb my tangents. You can find me as at Glitter Burrito across the internet. I love when people say hi. I promise not to be too chippy as long as you're not. And I'm also on How Did You Get Here, which is a career path podcast. And I also have Bloody Broads, which is a horror movie podcast. And I have a Patreon where I write about and make videos about whatever I feel like that week. So hopefully you like what you heard.
Right on. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Glitter Burrito, I've got to get the story about that sometime. But I will say this.
Yes.
You can be a Bama fan and be a decent person. Jamie's or she's the exception that proves the rule. One of the two. That was your show, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back on Friday with Felder. Again, at DPalm66 across the socials, at UDPod66 on YouTube. Make sure you please just hit the subscribe button. There's a little thing I can do on StreamYard, but I don't want to do it. So please just subscribe. They'll be back, like I said, Friday with Felder. We're brought to you by the MTR Network, also by DanielFarmMortgages.com. If you can afford rent, you can afford a mortgage. Let me show you how to qualify. Check out my other podcasting venture, Life, Love, and Real Estate, talking about the season that we are currently in as we head towards the holidays and how that affects housing. That was your show. There is no outro. See you guys later this week.